What's up, OUXers? I've got 3 questions to go over today. The first question from Ryan about, I think from like 2020. It was like one of our very first OUX happy hour recordings from Daniel Rosenberg, talking about his book, OOUX Magic. And there was some confusion about education being an object or learn being a verb. So I'm actually going to pull that video up at Ryan's timestamp, and I'm going to kind of just provide some commentary. To hopefully clear things up. Because Daniel and I, we define objects slightly differently, and verbs slightly differently. So, love some UX magic, but I probably have some thoughts. So we'll be going over that. Rick has a question about the next cohort, when that is, recertification options, which even if you're thinking about getting certified, I think it's actually important to know about what recertification looks like and what the advanced certification looks like. A new track that I'm just starting in cohort 9 for every single cohort is going to have 2 tracks: the certification, the strategist certification, and the advanced strategist certification. So advanced strategists serve as mentors, and they have their own curriculum, and they get that advanced certification that I need to design soon. I need to design the little certificate. Why has it got to be little? The big, beautiful certificate. And G's got a question here about, a tough one. Interviewing for new career opportunities and feeling like OUX case studies might scare folks away. Okay. So I've got lots of thoughts on that. And I will say, before I get into these questions in general, I've had so many people come up to me and say, OUX helped me get my job. So generally people like the OUX when they see it. People that get it. So I'll be getting into those 3 questions. By the way, my name is Sophia Prater. I run the OOUX Forum. I am answering these questions right now for the OOUX Forum. I do monthly Q&A. Every month. For the public forum, I do bi-monthly Q&A for my self-paced masterclass folks and certification folks. So if you are not already in the OOUX Forum, go to forum.OUX.com. You can sign up totally free, and then you can ask questions too within the monthly Q&A section. So hope to see you there. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so. And I don't think I need whimsical or anything. These are all kind of, we are going to go into this. But yeah, I don't think I need any other stuff, do I? Nah. Okay. So, and I'm going to go UX Magic Happy Hour, then this question, and then I'm going to go back to Rick's question. Just put that at the end, just in case anybody is really not interested in the certification process, then you can just quit watching. Okay, I hope you are, though. It's pretty freaking awesome. Go to OOUX.com/testimonials and don't listen to me. Hear what other people have to say about it, and just scroll for days because there are so many testimonials there. Okay, so Ryan, all right, let's just zoom in. Can I zoom in? I don't feel like it did. It did get bigger. Okay, so Ryan is asking, he's watching the UX Magic Happy Hour. Ryan, thank you for going down the rabbit hole. It's a deep cut. And talking about Daniel Rosenberg's, his CTA matrix, which is different than our CTA matrix. Yay! So let's just take a look. Let's go take a look, and I'll provide some commentary. And first I'm going to get out of the way.
Let's look at the implications.
I'm going to go back just a little bit.
All right. The more you can position as a change of an attribute value, the lower the cognitive load.
So one thing right here, I just went back a little bit farther. Should I go into full screen? Yeah, okay. Get me out of the way even more. Let's get into it. All right, so one thing, I probably wouldn't consider money an object. Okay, money, I like my objects to be instantiable. So yes, animal, yes, people, yes, services, yes, event. This looks very much like an object map, actually. We just got a lot more color coding. But money is the one I have a little bit of a problem with. I would say like transaction would be an object, or donation could definitely be an object, but I want my objects to be pluralizable. So if you would go back to SIP, structure, instances, and purpose, for figuring out, is it an object, right? Instances means that it can be pluralized, right? So animal, and then we got some stuff where animal is singular, people is plural, services is plural, and event is singular. So keep it all. I usually in my object map keep it singular, but I know that it can be pluralizable. Monies, where do I go to get all my monies? Monies does not. Invoices, yes. Donations, yes. Transactions, yes. Accounts, yes. But money is too abstract. I want y'all to concretize it a little bit more. All right, let's keep going.
You're designing because you're going to rely on recognition instead of recall. All right? And this is why we do the compression. And I've already talked to this slide before.
And this is like my favorite part of the UX Magic book. This slide is in the masterclass actually, or a version of this, where he compresses the CTA matrix. So yes, we should not have copy and duplicate, right? Don't have two different words for the same thing, okay? We do also talk about shape-shifting CTAs and mass CTAs. That's a whole other story. Getting your words right. That is so much what we talk about in this course, but I absolutely love this part where we say, copy and duplicate is the same freaking thing. Remove and delete. So remove could be a little bit different. Like removing a song from a playlist is different than deleting it. So, sometimes you might want both remove and delete. Removing a person from a team is different than deleting a person in some sort of a portal system or something like that. So language is tricky.
So, an action, right, is in the way I approach this, is something that reflects a goal, right? There doesn't necessarily have to be a share button or a learn button in the UI, right? But these are the meta actions that people need to take. Now, let's look at the...
So in OOUX, we usually think about goals as the higher level thing, and CTAs are kind of a means to an end. Like, I don't want to, in this particular example, I don't want to adopt a dog, right? I want to have a dog. Like going through the adoption process is a means to an end of having I want to have a dog. The goal is to have companionship with a amazing animal in my home. That is the goal. Adopt, I would say, is a great CTA to put on the dog object. Or the cat object, right? But I wouldn't say that that's the goal. So I wouldn't even say that scheduling is a goal. Like my goal is not to schedule a dentist appointment. That is a task that I have to do. That is a CTA within a system, right? A schedule probably on an appointment. So I probably see like an appointment slot object within my dentist portal thing. Why I keep saying the word portal today. And yeah, so I don't want to schedule the appointment. I want to have clean teeth. That is my goal, right? I want to not get cavities. That's the goal. I want to have a healthy mouth, right? I want to have healthy mouth bones, right? That is really the goal. The goal is not to schedule a dentist appointment. So just saying. Sometimes the goal is to learn, but usually that is also a means to an end. And these I would call weak CTA. Well, share, maybe not a weak CTA. Share is like kind of in the middle. Learn, I would call one of those weak, non-transactional CTAs.
The implications of...
This is fun.
All right? We're going to try and determine whether education should be an object, an action, or an attribute.
Okay, and so what am I going to say about education being an object? I go to get all my educations. It doesn't pluralize very well. It's not instantiable. So course feels like a really nice object. Or even like blog post or something could be underneath education. Like what are the things that educate people? So education, I would not call that an object. I would call education could be one of those higher level goals. But it's kind of like this, like, it's too squishy. Let's concretize it. So course, lesson, learning module, things like that, those would be your objects. In the OOUX world.
You basically said, okay, learning, right, is an action. It's its own goal, meta goal. Action. right? And if I were to
You might have a learn more CTA and something to like open something up again. I would call it a weak CTA.
design a UI with this conceptual model, it would be different than if I said, no, education is an object associated with every attribute or with every action.
And Ryan, this gets a little bit confusing to me too, honestly. So what I would say is we'd have a course object and you might have like a learn now CTA to like, or enroll CTA. Okay. So getting back down, like if you have these really fuzzy concepts, that's fine at the goal stage, all that touchy-feely stuff. When we get to touchy-feely stuff, when we get to the OOUX, we really are trying to like be super, super clear where there really can't be anything misinterpreted. So what do you have? Do you have courses? Do you have blog posts? What do people do? Do they need to enroll in those courses? Do they need to just a start button? You don't have to enroll or something. Do you have to buy the course? That's what I would put in my CTA matrix where I have our CTA matrix in the OOUX community. We would have our objects across the x-axis. We would have CTAs across the y-axis. And we would have roles. What is my CTA matrix? We would have objects across the x-axis and roles down the y-axis and our CTAs in the middle, okay? We talk about this in the Udemy course. We talk about this a lot in the masterclass. We get really deep into it in the masterclass. So if you want to learn more, that's where you gotta go.
Okay, what would the difference be? Well, this would imply an information architecture where there is a learning section, right? Everything you need to know about dog ownership. This one implies that all of the educational material is in vitro, in effect, right? So there wouldn't be a learning section, but whenever you're dealing with donation or adoption or scheduling or whatever.
And now we're getting into the navigation, so like a top navigation, right? So, and as you may or may not know, I really like to promote contextual navigation through nested objects, but you do probably have some sort of top navigation. I love my top navigation to be noun focused versus verb focused. Verbs are just a little bit more squishy and you need to know what am I like learn like I would much rather see courses at the top. I know exactly what that is. All right. Learn can mean so many things, but courses or lessons or something like that, that was what I would put in. Likely, I would need to know more about it, but likely that's what I would put in a main navigation. And then within a course, I might, let's say I'm looking at a course on, in this particular example, a course, the instance of the course is on taking care of geriatric dogs or something like that. What do you need to do to take care of geriatric dogs? I might actually see some nested dogs in that course, right? To say like, here's some geriatric dogs that you might want to adopt if you're looking at this video, right? Or if I'm learning about puppies, I might actually see some puppies there. So that's that cross-linking where I would go from a course to a dog, people, organization. I don't remember exactly what this design challenge is, so I'm just making stuff up here. So if you go back, and this was 3 years ago. 3 years ago? It was years ago. It was time ago. If you go back to here and what I'm saying doesn't make sense, please forgive me.
You could flip them. And actually, I just realized this slide is upside down. So actually, if this would be the case,
okay, we're going to move things around. So overall, what I absolutely love about what I highly recommend Daniel's book, UX Magic. Oh my gosh, even just like the UX grammar section is absolutely amazing. I think we add a lot in the OOUX world. I think it's a great companion. I think I get into a little bit more definition on what objects and CTAs and attributes actually are. And then also, there's so much, also like, actions, you can have a review action, but then if you have a review action, what do you need? You need a review object, right? So we go back and forth between the CTA matrix and our objects and our relationships and our attributes. Is this an attribute? That's a big question. Is the object actually pet? And there's a type attribute of dog versus cat versus bird. Okay. So we kind of mix them all together, right? But we have the ORCA process. Objects, relationships, CTAs, and attributes. And we're constantly popping back and forth like, oh, is this attribute actually an object? Ooh, this CTA, we now have message CTA. We want to message a person. we're going to have to add a message object as well, because that has structure and instances and purpose. All right, cool. I'm going to escape. Escape. Oh gosh, am I going to be able to get back? Yeah, that's my slides for today. Can I, let's see. Oh no. There we go. Oh, magic. I got back. Okay, so hopefully that helps, Ryan. Let me know. Okay. Rick, when is the next? No, wait, I said I was going to leave that to the end. Okay. Giuseppe. Gee, my friend. Okay, so I feel you here. You can read my reaction here. My initial reaction is if they're scared of thinking deep, they're scared of OUX, then move on. All right, that's my tough love right there. That's not a company that I would want to work at. That's like, ooh, we don't have time to answer all these questions. We just need to go, and we're agile, and we just need to get stuff out and kind of like piece by piece and not think about this thing holistically. So my also answer is to remember that you were interviewing them as well. So they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them. And I would say you might need 3 interviews. I don't know. Most of the feedback, this is actually the first time I've had this question. Probably other people have experienced it. But I do also think that, let me make myself bigger because we're just looking at, hi again. How do I just say this diplomatically? I need to pause and think. Okay, so one thing, if you really, really want the job, you really, really want to work at this company, and you feel like they're a little bit standoffish, one thing I would say is to not come in guns blazing, all right? Not be like, I say OUXers all the time, but not to come in like, I'm an OUXer. I'm not a UX designer. I'm an OUXer. Or to come in like, I want to bring this new process to your organization. Like that feels scary. So I would show it in your portfolio, show all the cool diagrams, nav flows, beautiful, object maps, the sticky notes, and just kind of say, this is my process for understanding. It really helps me break down complexity. I really like to make sure I fully understand the business and the business rules. I want to make sure that we don't have any rework because, I didn't have a good understanding of what was actually required. So I need to make sure this is just basically how I break things down. And in general, people really love it. Now, if it's an agency, you can talk about like clients really love it. If it's, if it's within an organization, usually this is a great way to involve stakeholders early, involve developers early. And so we can just get on the same page. I've got some really amazing workshops. They don't take that long. Like it's a half-a-day workshop here, a 2-hour workshop here, another half-day workshop. And this just really helps me make sure that my screens, like we don't have to do a lot of iterating rework. When we get to screens, we can move things around when we're sort of in this light sticky note form, right? Because change is cheap then. So I want to make all my changes and really get into the complexity when change is cheap, right? I don't want to get into all the complexity when change is much more expensive. Talk to the dollar signs. Talk to the dollar signs, all right? So that is a little bit of a spiel. Also going back to let's see, what's my website? On OOUX.com. I will also send you to resources, and there's a whole collection. We have lots of collections here. We've got this Making the Case for OOUX. Actually, the first one here is Rick. This is a great list, benefits of OOUX. So kind of picking and choosing. So look at these few, there's quite a lot of them. Explore that and really think about, maybe this is in a second interview where you really know your interviewer, you really know the company, and pick and choose the pieces that you feel like are going to resonate the most, right? Then when you get the job and you get in, you do the quiet OUXing. Just start doing it. You will be recognized for it. Your stuff will make more sense. You will use it just to understand the new business that you found yourself in. Chase Roberts talks about that on the podcast when we talk about him going into Chewy. Oh my gosh, Caitlin Steele talks about that on the podcast when she's talking about how she's breaking apart her competitors within Atlassian. So the podcast has really great examples of people just doing it and then being recognized. All right. Oh my gosh, the HelloFresh episode too. Jake Z. All right. Jake Z and Erica Queen. Read that story. I don't have transcripts yet on the website. It was terrible. Listen to it. We'll get transcripts soon. Yell at me about it and motivate me. Okay, so the next cohort. Okay, so OUX training, here's the whole like masterclass versus certification. This is starting. This is the 5th right now. This is starting on the 9th. We are full up, completely full. We are completely full. I had like 2 people straggled in, but we are not onboarding anybody else. So cohort 9 is full. Recertification. So for your certification lasts 3 years. All right. The stuff changes this stuff is old. Right? We could have been using Orca 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Objects, relationships between the objects, CTAs, what we do to those objects, and what the attributes are. We don't even need to be doing that for digital. Anyway, that's a whole other rant. But this stuff, our methodology does evolve, and the quality of the content is continuously evolving. So I want you to come back every 3 years. Now, you can come back in one of 2 ways now. We now have a second way that you can come back. The first way is just to enroll in another cohort. And by the way, you can do this at any time. So once you've done the certification, you re-enroll at half off. Okay, so you can go through the certification. The first time you do the certification, you've got to do one of our nice hermetically sealed design challenges. Let's say the next year you're like, I want to join a cohort and I want to do a project, like a personal project or like a passion project at work or something like that, or a piece of thing I'm designing at work. And I just want that level of support for 10 weeks. I just want to join that container. You are 1, always the first to know and first to get invited. You are 2, always going to be coming in at half off. All right. So at the point of this recording, that's going to be $1,000. So $1,000 for 10 weeks of coaching while you're working on something that's either a personal project or some kind of pet project. Because when you come back the second time, you can do whatever design challenge you want. Well, I kind of have to approve it. I talked to you about it to make sure it is the right level of complexity. But you can come in and do this at any time. To keep your certification, you don't want to go past 3 years, okay? Because then you lose that half off, all right? I got to motivate you somehow. So to keep you coming back and keep you getting better and better at this, and to really, the certification is me saying like, I approve of you. If it's been 3 years, I want you to come back. I want you to come back and I can give you my stamp of approval again. So you can come back just to recertify as a strategist. Now you can also come back as an advanced strategist. Now that price right now is very low because I am designing this right now. The first run is going to be cohort 9. The second run is going to be cohort 10. I don't want to throw any numbers out there right now, but it's going to be much less than this because you're by cohort 10, advanced strategist, you're still going to be sort of guinea pigs at this point. But you will have an entire curriculum and you will be mentoring. It's a little bit less work actually, but you are actually teaching. I'm teaching you more about the Orca sprints, running workshops, these advanced concepts, connecting all of the steps and how you can remix them and really become an advanced OUXer, meaning you can blend OUX better with other tools that you already have. That is a big thing. When I think about an advanced OUXer, they've got OUX in their brain and then they come into any situation and they can create a diagram, they can get up on the whiteboard, and maybe there's like a little bit of a nav flow here, a little bit of an object map here, but it's totally custom to the situation because there's that level of practice and flexibility. Okay, so that's what the advanced program is all about. The next certification is likely going to be early summer of next year. I've got to take some time next year to really solidify what happens to folks that have graduated from this advanced program. Because one of the things that I am doing with my advanced graduates is I'm making sure that they're going to get paid. All right. They're going to be booking consulting calls. We're going to be trying to really open up the market for these Orca sprints that are so highly valuable. It's not even on the website right now. I don't even have the advanced program on the website. So I got shit to do, y'all. So probably the next certification is not going to be until summer. Maybe I can get my act together and do it a little bit sooner, but we don't have a date for that yet. So thank you for asking, Rick. I want you. I want you. And anybody that has been certified, and of course you can't just join the advanced program. You have to get certified first, and then you can join the advanced program. And I might change the name of this. We've talked about OUX strategist versus OUX consultant. We're still even figuring out what to call it, but I keep saying advanced strategist. So working title right now. All right, y'all. Happy OUXing. Mwah. Come join the forum if you're not already there. Forum.OUX.com. Go to the sidebar, and you got your The first 2 modules of the Udemy course are totally free there. You've also got community. We've got interest groups there for devs and content strategy and information architecture. And we've also got Q&A. So next Q&A will be the beginning of November. You can write your questions there. I'm not as good about getting to questions in the comments of YouTube. So yeah, and I'm just starting to publish these to YouTube. So okay, cool. Happy OUX. Boop.